Who are you? Assuming secrecy, how would you respond? Greetings to all, I am new to this channel and came here since I am now having a really hard time coping with life. Here's my story. I've been with my boyfriend for 11 years, and there have been difficult moments. I've acted irrationally and broken things, among other foolish things. We were living in Scotland, but things were not really working out because my spouse had no friends and no time away from the house, which made things stressful and led to my acting badly. She returned to her family in the south of England in order to increase her social life, etc. After she went, I had lingered in Aberdeen for a few months, missing my son's birthday and spending Christmas alone. Anyway, last year for Halloween, I decided to invite a good friend of mine. He was a stranger to my partner. When he finally showed up, he and my partner appeared to get along great. And I thought, well, at least they're getting along, and having a friend in common is nice. I went to bed at midnight that first night and woke up at 5:30 a.m. and discovered they were still conversing when I walked downstairs. To be honest, this made me a little nervous. They both went to bed soon after I woke up. We even got into an argument about it in front of my friend. This trend persisted for the whole of the week. My son and I would get up early, and they wouldn't get up until much later, of course, at which point they would stay up all night again. I slept off once when we were all conversing. Additionally, she yelled at me and even suggested that I go to bed. Well, why don't you come up as well? I asked her. She replied bluntly, no, I want to stay up with Bob. One evening, when I woke up at 4 in the morning, my spouse wasn't in bed. Downstairs everything was quiet, lights out, etc. So I considered what was happening. Now that my mind is racing, a million different things are crossing my mind. As I stealthily make my way downstairs, the door of the room he's in is closed, but the light is on, and I hear her giggle a little. I decided not to barge, so I knocked and went inside where they were only sitting and conversing. At the foot of his bed, she took a seat under his covers. When Friday finally arrives, I go to her mother's house as planned to pick up a delivery of roofing materials. My partner will get up with my son, therefore she has instructed me to go alone. She won't get out of bed, so I keep chasing after her. I then bring my kid along, keeping in mind that over the entire week, neither of them left their beds until at least 10:30 a.m. She calls me at around 8 on Fridays. 30 and states that he is taking a shower and that she is also awake. I could not help but feel that if I were gone, they would try to get up. Anyway, the day finally arrives for him to return home, and I can finally let go of it. How mistaken I was. I requested that he text me as soon as he got back safely. Let's just say that he didn't. As time passes, I assume he must have returned home by now, but I have not received a response. And my stomach is twisting in the worst way. I take her phone and look at it, and sure enough, there's a message from him to her letting her know that he's returned safely, and that he misses Basingstoke a lot. Basingstoke truly misses you too, she responds. I was now upset with her and him for this. When I asked him why he hadn't texted me, he replied that it had been an accident. When I asked her why she hadn't told me he had messaged you, she replied, well, I couldn't because of how you would react. Over the course of a few weeks, I caught her repeatedly messaging, but each time, she denied everything. I asked her quietly, why are you still messaging him? When I noticed a message on her phone while she was holding it, she got up, left the room, and quickly returned, claiming she had no idea what I was talking about and that, ironically, the message I had just seen had now been removed. I finally asked her to remove his number because I was tired of all the lies and dishonesty, which she sort of did, but I discovered later that she had actually saved it under her sister's name. I blocked everyone who wasn't on her contacts list from contacting her and changed one digit in the phone number since I had truly had enough at this time. When I challenged her, she said that she had kept his number in that way in case I was monitoring her actions. Things improved progressively until October of this year, which is almost precisely a year after this. My stomach began to flip as she started acting distant once more, so I finally inquired what was wrong. How I wish I hadn't, huh? She launched into a long tirade about how angry she was with me for the way I handled the matter the year prior. She says she's not bothered but that she doesn't like that I intervened, even though I haven't given it a second thought. Now, law, bear with me almost to the end. After a few weeks pass and nothing seems quite right, the primary problem is finally identified. She had to use my computer, so I took her laptop. When I went to the Facebook login screen, I noticed an email address I had never seen in the field. Is this your email address? I ask her. Yes, she answers. Oh, so you are on Facebook then? I ask you gently. She responds by saying no. I then pushed enter, but since I obviously forgot to input my password, I was unable to get in. Her Facebook page then appeared, requesting the right password. Oh, is this not you then? I ask her. She was soon defensive. She says it's only to communicate with buddies from her degree program. It's not for anything. I thus take that with a grain of salt because I no longer have any faith in her. After a few weeks, it seems like things are getting worse and she is being increasingly reticent. She was acting normal until all of a sudden one night. She takes her laptop to the bathroom with her and closes the lid when I approach. I am now quite suspicious because she updated her profile picture today with a photo of herself looking very glamorous and made up, and now this. I log into my Facebook account and see my alleged friend. She is listed among his friends. She had just gone to the bathroom with her laptop. I looked at her phone since she had left it behind and saw several texts to her closest friend indicating that friend request had been received. I messaged him, and when I saw that he had messaged me back, my heart stopped. What was wrong with me? I keep going back to question her, but she always denies everything and starts painting me as a crazy person who is only curious about her partner's condition. I answered, "Why do you need to know how he is? After last year, it doesn't really matter." She still doesn't see why all of this may affect me and cause me to react in particular ways. Worse, in January 2020, she is returning to Scotland. Fortunately, this was announced before she spoke to him, otherwise else, who knows what I would have assumed. She has also acted strangely about a number of other topics, and every time I have followed up because I trust my instincts, I have discovered that she is lying. Oh, and I also made the decision to check out her Facebook posts. I recently learned that his name appears in her Facebook password, as do the names of a few other Scottish friends we had. She has been claiming that we broke up last year. She even confided in this person that she was happily single. Additionally, she has told me that we are together with a buddy who is not from Scotland. I apologize for the lengthy post, but I truly need some assistance as I am completely lost. I appreciate you taking the time to read this, and I eagerly await your comments. The only thing I neglected to mention is that she frequently states that all she wants from him on Facebook is to be friends. You didn't throw your partner out when you discovered him sitting in bed with your pal in your home? Dude, what is wrong with you? There they were, right under your nose, having an affair. Do you believe it is appropriate for a person in a committed relationship to talk to someone till the wee hours of the morning while her partner is sleeping upstairs? Do you really think it was an emotional affair when she actually went to your guest room with him and giggle? I don't think so. I believe it's a sexual relationship that began right in front of you, and all you do is complain to her about it. Please get some self-control. Your companion. He is absolutely not your friend. You heard your partner was in your guest room with him, and after all that, you were gracious enough to knock first and let him stay, so I guess he was secretly giggling. This is your guest room, your home. If she hadn't complained, I would have tossed both of them. If I were you, belongings outside that evening. Opus answers. Nobody goes to this extent just to be friends on Facebook. That much is true, but I dunno. I'm starting to lose sleep, I've lost over a stone, and I have to wait less than a week. She gets crazy if I even bring it up. I've discovered through other channels that she felt something for him, and I've told her I get it, etc. But she still won't admit it, even though I have video evidence of her saying it. Although it's helpful to hear other viewpoints on this, thank you for your responses. Although, to be honest, I did not find it simple. I do agree with you. I believe a part of me felt bad because I had upset her with my rage in the past, and I didn't want to upset her again because she seemed to enjoy him. Indeed, now that I think about it, I did witness her stroking his arm a few times. However, I made a commitment to never act in such an angry manner again, primarily because I lose control when the red mist covers my eyes. I have also taken the trouble to look through her internet history and discovered that she listens to Hungry Eyes from Dirty Dancing a lot and looks at his Facebook profile and images nearly every day. Although the house is in her name and we are not married, I am the one who pays the expenses. Thank you also. This is excellent because you brought to mind something else. I confronted her about the texting incident after he had departed. She spent around a week sleeping in that room. Shall I simply tell her everything I know, lay all my cards on the table, and then give her a deadline? The issue is that she will be moving to the city where he resides in a few months, and the choice to relocate back was made shortly after this Facebook incident occurred. I've attempted to explain to her that they've both gone too far, but she simply brushes it off like I'm a crazy paranoid. Not even her family is aware of the complete scope of this. I've been reading the cheater's script, and some of it seems really similar. It's been a longing of mine to confront him. As a buddy, I most definitely would not act in such a way. He jumped over boundaries that, to use that phrase very loosely, you just don't cross, and, to be honest, heaven help him if he were in the same town as me. Indeed, he is a slimeball, and I wish I had never seen him in person, much less introduced him to my alleged girlfriend. She tells me that he's only a friend, but she had a psychic reading a few weeks ago, and she got a CD copy of it. She said it was a relaxation CD for meditation. I suggested we both take a listen and unwind. She became defensive right away and declared that she would not listen to it until she made a move. Naturally, this piqued my suspicions because I listened to it when she was gone, and she made it quite evident that she felt something for him, among other things. She even made up the story of how she met him, saying it was through a friend. She added that she might like to meet him again in the future. This psychic told her no when she inquired if she should go after him. I guess I should also add that she's now in Scotland with her best friend from earlier. She's looking at the house she's going to move into. She hasn't communicated with us at all today, not even with an SMS to check on our youngster. She texted me this morning, and I will admit that I had sent her a Facebook message this morning expressing my displeasure with the impression that she would just have him as a fallback when she moved in January. I've turned her off to guys, she retorted. She stated it's unfortunate that my honesty always finds its way back to him when I told her I was being honest. She keeps stating she wants a break to see what happens and that she thinks we can work things out, even though I know she wants to split up. Though I'm still not sure why, I know I can't stand this any longer. As painful as it is to admit, she is not the best mother and is too self-centered to prioritize my son. At this point, my main worries are for my son and the fact that he does need me in his life. If I take no action, I'm essentially admitting that she is unfaithful to me and putting myself in danger of suffering much more in the future. She is using a house swap to finance her home as such. Yes, according to card statements I have, she is in the hotel. If it seems like all I've done is cry and moan, that's simply because I came here because I don't know how to handle the situation. I adore my son more than life itself, and I would fight for him if I could, but I was never raised in a stable environment, so I suppose that's all I want for him, not the pain of having to endure custody disputes. Even though your response was direct, I respect what you said and I agree with you. I deserve better, and I know this now. She should undoubtedly fight for my family just as much as I do. She should also be motivated to battle for it. Indeed, I have refrained from reaching out to him at this time in order to observe how things develop and acquire additional proof. I find the whole thing strange, and the fact that she is moving simply makes it more difficult. To somewhat go off course, we were all planning to move, but after seeing it, we concluded it was not the wisest course of action. Things took a turn for the worst once this discussion started happening in Aberdeen. Considering our tainted past there, I voiced my displeasure at moving there, and that's when this nonsense started. And because it's all still so recent, I believe I am still in a state of emotional shock. And that's how it escalated into what it is now. Allow me to clarify my refusal to relocate with her. Aberdeen was our home for almost 5 years. She didn't have any friends or family there, which made things difficult and unproductive. She then vented her frustrations on me. About 2 years ago, she relocated back to be close to her family, but for various reasons, she no longer wishes to remain here. She then began looking for council house exchanges and discovered one close to Glasgow. We went to visit the house because it looked pretty wonderful, and to be honest, we were both very enthusiastic about the new beginning it would bring. After that, we looked into it further and found that it was a more impoverished region with a higher crime rate. Thus, we made the decision to stop. When she looked again, she discovered the Aberdeen location. I said right away that I didn't want to go back there because we didn't have a nice time there in the past and it would be difficult because of the unpleasant memories. After we spoke for a while longer, I replied that I was ready to move, but only if history was forgotten. She appeared content with this. When the year anniversary of his arrival for that fateful week arrived, her perspective on everything shifted, and she began expressing the desire for a vacation, among other things. She doesn't work there, but tomorrow I could return to my previous position. She is currently pursuing a degree in psychology in order to secure employment in the future. I hope this helps you understand a few things. But right now, I feel so hopeless and like I want to give up. It's beyond what I can take. All I can think of while she's gone is that she's up there with him. When Aberdeen materialized, I communicated my dissatisfaction and thought it could be worth a try. She said, "Yeah, let's do it, making a fresh start, etc." She began acting strangely when I essentially said, "We can't make the same mistakes as before," and this with him continued for a few weeks. I've seen their exchanges on Facebook, so I know she hasn't been in contact with him before. Perhaps an interesting situation, but I believe she has some illusions about how much better things are. This guy has no idea what he's doing and hardly even a man. He's aware that she's got a son, mine. In their text, he tells her that it's unfortunate that she didn't move sooner since they could have gone to a rock concert together. Does he not remember that she told him she is a single mother with no relatives or actual friends there, so how could she possibly manage? It's not like she really gave it much thought as to what would happen if she decided to go ahead and date him. I had a son with her, therefore he will have to face me. I have to make sure my son is fed, clothed, and ready for school every day. I also have to keep up with him. On the weekends, I'll stay up with him while she sleeps until 11 or 12. She finds she can never reason with him when he is angry and that yelling at him is the best course of action. She continues to undermine me and argue with me in front of him. She tends to become agitated around high, but I always try to keep my cool. He begins to speak louder, etc. The moment he becomes agitated, she would yell at me even more and accuse me in front of him. He's been using the computer a bit loudly lately, so I told him to calm down. She responded, "Don't worry, Troy, we're moving soon, and Mommy loves you, so that's all that matters." On the few occasions that I haven't been home, she has been worrying over the phone about him, saying things like he's too much, etc. Nevertheless, I manage this on a daily basis in addition to taking care of our dog and working a full-time job. Alright, so this is what I've chosen to do. I'm going to have a conversation with her when she gets back home and ask her to be completely honest. I'll give her an opportunity to do so, and if she doesn't agree to acknowledge anything or becomes agitated, I'll compile my facts and convince her that I am an expert on everything. Then, whether it was a physical affair or not, I will declare that I cannot trust her and that she has cheated on me with my former acquaintance. I will then say that I am okay with the move moving forward, that we will be apart for a while, that we need to sort this out together, and that he cannot be involved in any way. She won't know that tomorrow I will have visited attorneys to learn about my rights, and if after a pause she continues to be unreasonable, I will seek custody of my son. Did I mention that when I first started dating her, I assumed parental responsibility for her 4-year-old daughter? When I did that, I was 19, and she seems to be past all of these things. She comes to me first whenever she gets stuck or is unable to complete a task. She doesn't seem to comprehend how reliant she is on me. I thought I was insane for a time, but after seeing the support on this channel, I understood I was right all along. When he came to visit last year, I had a gut feeling that something wasn't right, and I followed that feeling despite her best efforts to deny everything and to continue telling lies. Even that my son is better off with me has been remarked by people at work. Alright, so a brief update. She sent him a note saying it seems strange to be back there, but she hasn't heard back from him yet. This morning, I went into her Facebook account and took a screenshot of every message she had sent about us. She states that we split up in one, that we did so last year, that we did so in February of this year, that we are splitting up in January of next year, and that we are still together in another. Today, we are going to talk to a lawyer. She also seems to have a serious issue with me talking to her family at all. The other day, I went to her parents' house to ask for a lift. I casually discussed it with my brother-in-law, and her mother then heard about it, which in turn reached her. When she learned that I had brought up the Facebook issue, she became quite combative and belligerent over the phone. I find this to be classic cheater conduct. Remarks, I sincerely hope that you will heed this counsel with a grain of salt. A helpful comment. Your spouse has left and won't be returning. The first enemy is your companion. Why? She is displaying symptoms of several problems in her conduct. Look these up, and you can be sure she will joyfully trash your life and you without even looking twice. You believe that your 11 years of togetherness has some significance in the current situation you're in. False, they don't. This somebody is not who you believe them to be. Grow up quickly, because as someone else has previously mentioned, you will find yourself crying by yourself in a room, wondering how it all occurred, while your friend sits there acting like a dad to your son and avoids your spouse while grinning. Your acquaintance possesses some sort of link, expose that jerk for what he is. All of her family's pals. Tell her that her actions will have repercussions. Something that is born in so many of these stories is something you need to comprehend. When their wife had checked out for someone else, no man ever made a decent gesture to get her back. Never, not even once, did it occur. You have to prove to her that you can easily dump her like that if you want her back. The only way to get someone like her to move is to do it. You next need to consider if you would want that particular individual back in your life in any case. Wishing you luck. It will be necessary. Update. Okay, so more depth to the plot. She visited an old friend of ours who lives in the area yesterday before viewing the house she will be moving into. Is it feasible that she messaged the other guy on Facebook using his account to set up a meeting and to let him know that I might be viewing her profile? I mention this because she also messaged her former neighbor last night and plans to visit her, but she received no response regarding a meeting time. I texted her to ask if she continued to see this former neighbor. She also mentioned that she hadn't received a response to her Facebook messages after 4. It's also possible that she's been talking to him on her best friend's phone lately. I've just introduced itemized billing to my phone accounts, so we'll find out soon. Now, for another update. Following my last post, I had a flash of insight and texted her directly, asking if I could trust her. She didn't respond, so I let it be known that she had cheated on me with a friend the previous year. I also told her that she needed to own up to her mistakes and stop using the past to excuse her behavior. After turning off my phone, I get a flurry of texts indicating that she would call the police because she is concerned for my son's safety. Oh, and her mom is also starting to change. I informed her that it was finished and that I couldn't trust her. I told her mom everything when she came around. She was speechless and in complete shock. In addition to the fact that my STB ex-girlfriend lied to her daughter, I have stated that I will not accept this friendship, etc. Despite her claims to the contrary, she has not changed any of her passwords. After a lengthy conversation with me last night, she finally confided in me, telling me that she had been unhappy for some time and that the whole situation with him was simply a ruse to harm me. Now again, same. After listening to her and understanding her reasons for being unhappy, I said that I had also been unhappy for a long. We will take our time, not rush or force things, and it has been decided that we are splitting up and that she is moving on. Since I'll need to stay in Basingstoke for at least a year anyhow, we're going to attempt dating again when I visit, which should reignite our romance. Should it not, then so be it. I told her not to rush and to take our time because we can't just toss everything away, but she felt pressured to decide right immediately. We've also stated that we are apart and that it's okay if new people enter our life. Regarding him, no, all of this has been her attention-seeking behavior. He hasn't communicated with her by email, Facebook, or phone. I'll tell you why he isn't interested. He wouldn't take a chance on it knowing he would have to deal with me. She hasn't spoken to him since the other day either. She doesn't have to make this decision, as I have also told her. I won't be waiting for her to make a decision. She is free to do whatever she wants to do during this break. She has been informed that I won't even consider a future with her until she is forthright and honest if I don't want to be with her and don't think I can trust her. I've told her that after this break, I'm relocating closer to my son so I can spend more time with him, even though I've already accepted the possibility that things won't work out. I'm kind of locked for a year anyway because I'm now paying back my corporation. I've been quite cautious. I looked over my credit card statements. She now has tracking software on both her phone and laptop. She does not possess a secret phone. That much is certain. She encouraged anything with her ways. I'm not sure if he chanced it in that way. It seems that she was just trying to harm me and exact revenge on me for her dissatisfaction. Sincerely, I feel like I've had enough and can no longer handle the skepticism and deceit. Will this ever be resolved? Right now, it doesn't feel like it. Last-minute revision. 6 months later, I officially broke up with my ex in October of last year. However, because of our shared son and our financial situation, we continue to live together. She has been in Scotland for 3 weeks now, having relocated there in January of this year. We continue to communicate daily, but on some days it felt more like we were speaking as friends, and on other days she would call to vent to me or to discuss a minor issue she was having at home. After yet another of these phone calls yesterday, during which she merely put me down, I've decided that enough is enough, and I haven't contacted anyone other than my kid or him in relation to my son. She has attempted to call me 3 times in less than 24 hours, saying that it is unrelated to my son and that it is urgent. I gently reply to her by text, telling her to just text me if it has nothing to do with my kid Troy. She texts me, and to my astonishment, it's not urgent enough that she called. Nevertheless, I text her the details she needed, and 10 minutes later, my phone rings once more. I tell her to text again, and I get this in response: "You're acting pathetic now." Well done. Troy is mine, but you wouldn't let me see him. I have to call since I can't put it in an SMS. After 11 years of dating, she relocated to Scotland, where I know she has no family and has only just established a few friends of her own. People would constantly tell me that I am enjoying my time the most now that I don't have my son because I can go out and do as I please. Would someone kindly advise me on what to do in this circumstance? I sincerely appreciate you taking the time to read this. I have not returned her calls. Instead, I have let them ring before texting her. It seems like it has only been one day, but I am afraid that she won't leave me alone and will keep finding reasons to get in touch. It appears that I won't be able to grant at least 30 days without communication. For 11 years, I had been her sole source of financial support. Additionally, she has not been emotionally stable during our relationship. Aside from one friend from before we met, she has only ever had me as a friend. It's obvious that I still feel something for her, but I need more time to fully understand my sentiments. Is there any way for me to get in touch with my son and stay away from her, or will I also have to deal with her? My 8-year-old kid lives 540 miles away from me, so we don't get to spend much time together. I don't have any work holidays to take, therefore April is when I will see him. It may be of assistance to you all to know that I am requesting this no contact period mostly in the hopes that we might resolve our differences in the future. But this time, please see how we're feeling, etc. And if we communicate, that won't work. It's not too bad because I talk to my son every morning before school, every afternoon after school, and we Skype at night. Things have been going slightly better the past few days. She has not reached out to me, but she usually replies when I text my son, and when we talk on the phone, she always puts the phone on speaker so she can hear both of us. I may get my son a little, inexpensive phone so I may talk to him on it. In my opinion, it does seem as though she is trying to find an excuse to get in touch with you, that she needs your emotional support, and that she wants a punching bag. Stop providing emotional support. She moved, therefore she'll need to figure it out on her own. Don't take anything away from her. Is this one you people liked? Opus is acting in his own best interest, even though he still feels something for this woman. Is this the ideal conclusion, or not? Tell me what kind of story you want to read next in a comment below.